What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about Carmelo again. He just been in a rumor hell the last, 3, 4 seasons since he's been a Knick. It's always Carmelo getting traded, Carmelo getting traded, Carmelo getting traded. Then he gets traded to OKC. 1 year later, Carmelo, he's getting traded. He's going to get waived. Where he's going to go? Gets traded to the Hawks, get waived by the Hawks. Now he's about to sign his contract with the Houston Rockets, which has been rumored for months that Carmelo is wanted by the Houston Rockets. Um, and Daryl Morey wants to get him, and now it's official that he's going to sign a 1 year, 2 point something $1 million deal to become a Rocket. But I think this fit. Before I even go with the fit, I just want to read off their roster. This is who they working with at that forward position. Um, Under contract right now, Gerald Green and honestly PJ Tucker. If you want to count him as a small forward, he plays small ball 4, sometimes small ball 5, and sometimes even Gerald Green. He plays a lot of small forward, well, mostly shooting guard. Like that's really it when it comes to the forwards that they have on this roster. You look back at last year, having guys like Luke Bahamute that can play the 2, 3, or the 4, having Trevor Ariza that can play the 2, 3, or 4, or switch through 2, 3, and 4. The Rockets lost a lot of versatility. And I know I got a lot of Rockets fans on my channel, but they lost a lot of versatility this coming season, just losing Bahamute, losing Ariza. They was able to keep PJ Tucker last year, which really helped them, especially in the playoffs. In big games, PJ Tucker was amazing, and I gotta give him credit for that. But Carmelo is a guy that can play the 3 and the 4, but he doesn't have the defensive impact, as we all know. He's basically a liability defensively because he can't even guard his position at the 3, and he definitely can't guard the 4. He's probably better at the 4 than he is at the 3 at this point, but we've seen him struggle a lot at the 4 too in OKC. And even when they tried to use him like that in the New York Knicks uniform, he was excellent. But remember, this is an older Carmelo Anthony compared to when he was still in his prime with the New York Knicks. So it's a different type of Carmelo that they're getting. I'm surprised that they wanted him that bad, that they made it public that they want Carmelo. Everybody's saying that he's going to be a Rocket. All the reports is that he's going to be a Rocket. And actually, as soon as he got waived, they're trying to sign him up to be a Rocket. And I'm surprised that he's been a priority at this age, especially after the season that he had with the Thunder, that even with the coach Mike D'Antoni, a guy that coached Carmelo, and they just didn't get along and they just couldn't win together, and that he had to leave to get that best out of that New York Knicks roster. And now he's the coach of the Houston Rockets, and they had beautiful seasons, winning 55 games last year, and then obviously 65 and 17 this year. One of the best season in Houston history, getting to the Western Conference Finals, 1 game away from being in the NBA Finals and potentially winning a championship with the Houston Rockets, something that Mike D'Antoni has never did as a head coach. And he got so close, and he ended up failing because Chris Paul went injured. At the end of the day, to get that close with that type of roster, and y'all know that it was 1 game away, and for y'all to lose all these pieces, um, including other players on their bench that they had on that roster, like Brandon Wright, like Joe Johnson and stuff, they most likely won't be coming back either. It's like they had one of the deepest rosters I have ever seen in my life. They had one of the best matchups against Golden State, with the ability to go small with them, with the shooters, with the length and the size and the athleticism at the wing, power forward, and guard positions. Having 2 ball handlers and James Harden and Chris Paul that can create their own shot while also making other players around them better by giving them easier shots because the spotlight and attention is on them, or they're breaking down the defense and pick and roll or getting to the paint and kicking out to those deadly shooters. They don't have that as much this year. They let a lot of those players go. They have enough to still be one of the top 5 teams in the Western Conference. James Harden has been able to get them there. He has not been great in the playoffs to a certain extent, but he has been able to get them into that playoff picture, and I don't really see that stopping even with Carmelo. But the West is only getting tougher. And that's why I had to bring up all those acquisitions, because you look at it like, why would they like, I know they had cap problems when they had signed Chris Paul to that extension, and then you still got to sign Clint Capella, but the West only got tougher. And I personally don't feel like the Rockets got any better, and that's how we all starting to feel as we look at this roster now compared to 3 months ago when they were just in the Western Conference Finals. And you look at it and you be like, wow, this team ain't as versatile. They not as good with switching. They're not as good offensively and defensively, especially. And the West actually got tougher. Adding LeBron, the Wolves going to be healthier. The Spurs got something to say. They won 47 games without Kawhi Leonard only playing 8 games. And you look at the Thunder, they get better chemistry. They get Robertson back. And you just can go on, and even like the Nuggets, they get another European together, another year of chemistry. LA getting LeBron James automatically make them a playoff favorite to be in the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference. And the Rockets went from being a number one team in the NBA, having the MVP, being one game from the finals, and now they went all the way backwards. They went from being the top two teams. If they would have kept the same roster, they would be the top two with Golden State. And now I only can say top five. That's a huge difference being the team that, the team that's going to go against the Warriors this year is going to be the Rockets. The Rockets going to be the team that's going to be in the Western Conference Finals again. Now I'm not that sure. Now if you ask me that question, I'm going to be real. I don't know if the Rockets are going to be in the Western Conference Finals. That's a huge step back. When we talk about the Rockets, we think they guaranteed to be in that spot, and they're really not this year. They're going to be another team fighting to get to the Western Conference Finals, fighting to get out of the second round. And the reason why I say that is because now they're on an even playing field. Now, what I will say is that Daryl Morey has said that he's not going to have the same roster in the summer that he will at the trade deadline. And I believe that he's a guy that's not complacent. He's always looking for two-way talent. Obviously, he was able to accumulate a lot of it over the last couple of years, and he still have a little bit of it on this roster. But I do believe that he's going to look at this roster and say, we're not going to win a championship with this roster. What can I do to get more talent on this team? Whether it is picking up people at when the buyout time, whether it's trading for intricate pieces that can fit right on this roster, whether it's before the season start or while the season is going. I do truly believe in Daryl Morey. I am not a Rockets fan, but Daryl Morey has proved that he's all about winning, and he has proved that he wants to win a championship for the Rockets. And if he can go out there and do that, I believe that he could. But I don't know if he's going to build a team better than the Golden State Warriors when they added DeMarcus Cousins and basically upgraded over JaVale McGee and Zaza Pachulia with one player while still having some bigs in Jordan Bell and Kevon Looney. But he has a tough schedule to beat this Golden State team. So it's either he's going to try to go all in like he did the last 2 years to try to beat them, or he's going to just wait it out. He has James Harden for a long time. He has Chris Paul for a long time, but they only getting older too. So at the end of the day, he still has this window to beat the Warriors while everybody's still playing well enough. And if he can't do that this year, it's going to be tougher for the Rockets. But Chris Paul does show that he still got a lot left in the tank. James Harden comes off one of his better seasons. His last 3 seasons have all been amazing. But one thing I would definitely say is, they took a huge step back. But if I had to guess one person that can correct that, it will be Daryl Morey. So I would definitely want to see what they're going to do, who they're going to try to target. Free agency is basically over. There's no real players that's going to make a big difference as signing at this point besides Capella. He's the biggest free agent still left, and he's restricted. So he can't really go anywhere anyway. Unless the Rockets can just match. There's not too many teams right now with cap space that can really offer him over $20 million a year anyway. So that leaves him to work out a deal with the Rockets to strengthen their team, bringing him back. But the goal is to win the championship. The goal is to beat the Warriors, and they took a huge step back doing that this year, especially in this free agency. But Daryl Morey is a guy that can correct it. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think this Carmelo deal helps him? Do you think it hurts him? Do it add another closer? He wasn't a great closer last year for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He wasn't the best floor spacer. He wasn't the best consistent shooter. He wasn't that big of a difference to the point where they wanted to buy him out or even stretch him to get off the roster. So Carmelo is coming into a situation where the odds are against him. Everybody doubting him. Everybody scrutinizing him. And he has the ability to now shut these people up. He has the ability to prove these people wrong, or he has the ability to prove these people right and show that he doesn't have enough left in the tank. He's not going to make a significant difference with this team. And at the end of the day, this could be a bad fit like he was with the Thunder. But not too many players that stars have been able to fit with Carmelo. You look at the Denver Nugget team with Allen Iverson. The team was good, but they wasn't great. They wasn't a championship contender, and they never really played that much defense, and that's why they lost a lot. And then you look at the Knicks. They only got to the second round and never even got to the Eastern Conference Finals. And his teammate Paul George was able to beat him to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And, people actually thought the Knicks was the favorite in that series, even though I picked the Pacers to win. It was kind of surprising to see the Knicks lose like that. And then obviously going to the Thunder, they was favored. They were supposed to be the team that can beat the Warriors. They were the team that was supposed to be able to compete with the Warriors. And next thing you know, they won't go home in the first round to a starless Utah team. They had no All-Stars on that team. And Rudy Gobert is not a dominant offensive player, but he's a dominant defensive player at this point. A young baby Utah team was able to beat them in the first round. So that's a disappointment. That's a flop. And they had a big three, including Steven Adams, and they had enough to beat that team, and they flopped. So if you look at Carmelo with other stars, it hasn't really worked the way it should. And they never was great defensive teams. And you can argue that the Thunder was, but they did still underachieve immensely by losing in the first round to Utah. And then you look at a team with the Rockets. He's not going to the Rockets team of last year. He's going to a weaker Rockets team at this point, and they don't have that much defense. They don't have that much forwards. They don't have as much versatility as they had last year, and they are not as deep as they was last year when they played against the Warriors. So he's going to a worse Rocket team than last year, and now he's going to be asked to do more considering that they lost so much talent. They're going to need Carmelo to give them some points. Everybody's saying he should be a sixth man. He should buy into a team concept. That's true. But this Rockets team going to need him to do more than be a sixth man if they really want to compete in the West. And I don't know if Carmelo Anthony can really truthfully and honestly do that at this point of his career. If you look at what he has done the last 3 years, he has been on a decline. And the Oklahoma City Thunder team that ruined his reputation around the league, especially after he laughed at coming off the bench and then he played so erratic with the Thunder, off and on, had one good month out of all of them, then the other one was straight. It's going to be tough at the end of the day for this Rockets team to compete, but we'll see. I'm not going to give up on them right now because I got to see the bigger picture. Right now, they're still painting, they're still designing, they're still customizing, they're still giving you a thought before they can actually make that full painting. So I'm not going to give up because I know that Daryl Morey going into last year, free agency, they had one of the best rosters, and they was able to add Gerald Green. They was able to add Bob Booth. They was able to add Joe Johnson. They was able to add other players by the end of the season. So they can still do that this year, and that's what Daryl Morey said he's going to do. So why not believe him if he was able to do it last year? And he's one of the best. He was the executive of the year last year. This season that just passed. So it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of fighting. There's going to be a lot of egos. There's going to be a lot of frustration with losing. But can Carmelo Anthony prove his haters and his doubters wrong? Or will he come back this year with the same mentality last year and end up flopping? And this Rockets team be one of the biggest disappointments that the Thunder was last year. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how this roster is going to look. We all speculating. We all guessing. But one thing we do know is that Carmelo is going to the Rockets. And right now, to me, they're not even a top 2 team in the West. They're top 5, but not top 2. And that's a big difference compared to last year when they was the number 1 team in the NBA and had the MVP and was almost 1 game away from the finals. To me, they took that big step back. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Click the link. It'll send you to my website. Click the link. It'll send you to my Facebook page. Like to show support. My t-shirts are on my Facebook page if you want to see how they look. And they're on the way to be bought. So let me know what you guys think about Carmelo Anthony signing with the Houston Rockets for 1 year. Daryl Morey finally get the guy he's been dying to get, and let's see how they utilize him and how he fits in with this team, with James Harden and Chris Paul being the leaders.